What's going on, people? June 30th is here. Let's see what's going on in South Africa. I've been looking on TikTok all day, trying to find like live video of what's happening. As of right now, I haven't heard anything bad. I know people are rioting or protesting in the streets. So let's see what's going on. His guy that's actually there.
June 30th, 2026, Johannesburg, South Africa. It is currently 7:05 a.m. Now, why is this day significant and why did I want to put this video out and take the risk that I am taking? Well, for starters, my name is Jackson Cooper. This is Coop's Corner. I am a Black American from Columbus, Ohio, and I am a journalist, independent that is. And I can't be in South Africa during this time and not cover this topic. Currently, there is going to be a march in downtown Johannesburg CBD. And this march is held by an organization called March on March. And they are aiming to keep the jobs here in South Africa for South Africans. Now, this is supposedly going to be a peaceful march, but the police have made it very clear that they will meet force with force if needed. So there is a sense of danger with this expedition that I'm going on. Now, March on March is saying that there are Africans who are taking the jobs of South Africans and they aren't on good papers. So basically, they're here undocumented and they shouldn't be in South Africa. That's what the South Africans are saying. Now, there are two different locations in South Africa that are on high alert. One happens to be in KwaZulu-Natal, the center point, Durban, and the
It's a KwaZulu town. What is it?
in South Africa. That's what the South Africans are saying. Now, there are two different locations in South Africa that are on high alert. One happens to be in KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal. I'm trying to see what he's talking about.
The center point, Durban. And the other high alert area is Gauteng. Now, Gauteng is where Johannesburg is located. And we're going to be in CBD, the heart of it all. So my mission, I want to see what the people are doing. I don't know if we're going to actually talk to people. I don't know what the vibe is going to be, but we're going to do our best to give you boots on the ground of what's going on June 30th, 2026. It is bright and early, guys. We are going to walk to the Gautrain station in Sandton, and we're going to take the train to Johannesburg Park Station CBD. So without further ado, guys, this is June 30th, 2026. I am Jackson Cooper. This is Coop's Corner. Let's get it. Okay, guys, the journey begins. Now, it feels like a normal day here in currently Sandton, headed to Johannesburg. Guys, I have never seen these dudes before. Oh, it's double security. Than Woolworths. Now, he was giving me some good, like, reasons why he thought that, but I don't know, man.
Okay, you see, there's nothing really going on
right
now. There's a lot of things. Maybe everyone's downtown right now to the main protest.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you commit a crime, there's no way to fight back. You know, it's time to go home, get your things sorted out, and then come back.
Wow.
You know, just be legal, man. Just be legal. And yeah, if everyone is complaining about you, then there's nothing you can do.
Right. So let me ask you one question.
Okay.
So how crazy do you think it's going to be in CBD right now?
No, I think, look, you're in Sandton. This is the richest square mile in Africa. So
You can't go to the richest part and try to do a case study, bro.
it's not going to be easy. Security is always on high alert. It should be a peaceful march, right? But people will be taking advantage of it.
Jesus.
You know? But
How's it going, boss? How you doing? How do I truly feel right now? I don't know. Because like I said, this is the calm before the storm. My energy is up, though. Even though it's early, my energy is up. It's bad down here, bro. Oh, man, this smells crazy. People down here, specifically in this area, how they feel about the march is because I don't know if they're South African.
Okay.
So I could
You
be
see that this is a very serious situation going on in South Africa and a sensitive subject. As a visitor, I choose to be very selective of whom I approach. Good job.
asking somebody who's not South African how do they feel about something, and they could be opposed to it. So I'm not gonna do that. Man, South Africans, tell me, how do you feel about CBD? Because I did a video about CBD.
All right.
Isolate.
The tribal.
Clashes mark
Chill.
June the 30th protests after 600 million rand security operation. MKMP accuses Julius Malema of shielding Feroz Khan and alleges 10 million rand bribe. Manhunt underway after parcel bomb injures Ukrainian businessman in Monaco. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
Saw over 10,000 people coming through. Now, it ended all here at KwaMai, where many are settling down, and hopefully this marks the end of today's operations. We did see minor instances and sporadic isolated incidences of people then hurling rocks at the protesters, in which the protesters returned fire by throwing the rocks back at these apartment blocks. These happened all the way in Hillbrow and Yeoville. But that aside, there were no confirmed incidents of injuries and or, of course, deaths. We do
So it
understand
seems like
that
the majority of migrants left. Not all of them, majority of migrants left.
police are going to maintain high visibility and are going to be around this area.
Marchers were told not to carry traditional weapons. It was clear nobody listened to that. In Durban, police sealed off the Point police station precinct ahead of the arrival of thousands of demonstrators. The march was led by March and March founder Jacinta Ngubese Zuma and Ella Nkosi Kona Ndabandaba. Point is home to many foreign nationals and has long faced allegations of drug-related crime.
Thousands of marchers brought the streets of the Durban CBD to a standstill today, seeking to drive a message to the South African government to ramp up their efforts
I mean, it's
in
still
fighting
early.
the
What time is
surge
it, South
of
Africa?
illegal migration. They made their way through the various streets of this city, headed to the Point police station. Now, in public discourse, the Point area has been at the center of allegations
Okay,
of
so it
illegal
seems to be
activity
over.
linked to the drug underworld. And they're essentially saying to the government that if you do not give us our demands, including mass deportations, ensuring that you infiltrate some of these problematic areas, then we'll intensify our demonstrations. It's been largely peaceful in the Durban CBD, a display really of unity. And this is what March and March has said that this is all about. It's about South Africans coming together in what they say is reclaiming their country. We've also seen a number of shops in the Durban CBD closed today. It remains to be seen
Of the meeting on social media. Ramaphosa
Need more buses.
And out of them, 300.
Because it's safe.
So now the big questions are, how long will the Home Affairs verification processes take?
He also claimed Khan and his associates offered him.
I mean, it seemed like the Moldovans.
Well, let's try and get into some that conversation, and we are going to continue with the coverage of these protests nationwide against undocumented foreign nationals. March and March organizers having vowed to continue with the protests until government meets their demands. Let's speak now to ANC NEC member Dakota Legoete. He joins us via the virtual platform. Mr. Legoete, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. Quickly first, let's start with your assessment of how things have unfolded today.
Thank you very much, Oli, for the opportunity, and also to the viewers.
Tensions are simmering in South Africa today as the country marks an unofficial deadline for undocumented migrants to leave the country. The ultimatum was set by protest groups, not by the government. Nationwide demonstrations have been taking place after a weeks-long campaign that has sent thousands fleeing and claimed 4 lives. In many areas, shops are shuttered, workers are staying home, and there is a heavy police presence.
Protesters in Johannesburg. Their presence forcing shops and businesses to shut and residents to stay off the streets. their simmering anger boiling over as they reach an unofficial deadline of June 30th for undocumented people to leave South Africa.
From today onwards, people will know what we're capable of. We want to do this according to the law. But now it seems foreigners don't want to cooperate. I'm not sure what we're meant to do.
A sentiment shared by protesters across South Africa, like here in the coastal city of Durban. They claim foreigners are responsible for crime, taking their jobs and for putting public services under pressure. They've demanded more action from the South African government.
So as it is, we want government.
This is a movement. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to organize against the government. Because the government, I think, will ignore you if it's just one or two people. But if it's a whole group of people and they can't ignore it, they may take into consideration. That's just how it works, unfortunately.
To treat illegal immigration in South Africa as an invasion of the country. And we want government to start massive deportation of illegal immigrants. We want government to take this matter seriously.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has rejected vigilantism, saying immigration enforcement must remain the responsibility of authorities, noting that many foreign nationals live and work legally in South Africa. He said his government is pursuing reforms, including stronger border management. Critics describe the groups and protesters as xenophobic, which has led some migrants, like these Malawians, to leave South Africa, fearful of the rising tensions.
When you are walking, they're asking you, when you gonna go back home? They say they can kill every foreign nationals here.
South Africa, one of Africa's largest economies, has long attracted migrants seeking work despite high unemployment and deep inequality. But these protests may mark a turning point, reshaping the country's image beyond its borders.
Diane Hawker-Kalubi is in Johannesburg. Diane,
I mean, I understand. It's just logical sense to me. You may not like the way they're going about it, but again, like I said in my last video, I'm pretty sure they feel like they had no choice. I'm pretty sure they asked the government to do something about it, and they say, stop complaining with the art. Stop complaining. The foreigners are not here to take away your jobs. And then they say, you know what, it's been going on for too many years, so we're going to organize and make a demonstration now. Again, I'm not for people getting hurt. You know, I understand you want to intimidate people by hurting someone, so they say, hey, if you don't do this, you're going to be next. But at the same time, there's people out there who really don't want to have any problems. They're not causing problems. The people who are causing problems, selling the drugs and the sex trafficking, those are people who need to remain publicly. Okay? Get those people. Don't get the people who are just in the crossfire.
you were out in the streets today. What's the situation there now?
Well, yes, Nicole, we were out in Johannesburg in the city centre and moved with the group that went to Hillbrow and Yeoville. What we saw initially was quite a peaceful protest, but by the time it reached Hillbrow and Yeoville, there were definitely some flare-ups between those who were marching and some of the community. We saw people throwing rocks at some of the apartment buildings there. And the significance of that area is that Hillbrow and Yeoville are both areas where there are quite a lot of immigrants staying. So in some streets, there would be small groups breaking off, throwing rocks and stones. The police would intervene and then the protesters would move on. The police have this evening confirmed that there was also a shooting incident in Hillbrow for which 3 people were arrested. It seems that the shooting was perpetrated by residents of that area against the marchers, and 3 people were arrested. 2 people were injured, including a 17-year-old boy. And now the South African National Defence Force has been deployed into that area, seemingly for the evening. Nicole.
This unofficial deadline, we need to be very clear, was set by vigilante groups. The government rejects the ultimatum, but beyond that, what are they doing?
The last few days to try and quell any sort of unrest or violence. For the most part, the protests were quite peaceful, but there were small flare-ups, like what I mentioned earlier on, and I think the police have been really trying to keep that under wraps. The government has also been helping with the repatriation and also saying that it wants to kind of make that process quite smooth, because a lot of people are leaving the country. So they're really trying to strike a very difficult balance.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming the origins of this unrest and this discontent, they lie much deeper. Is the government doing much to address the root causes of what we're seeing out on the street?
Enforcement officers, that is a tiny number for just the number of people that are in South Africa. There's also an issue of porous borders. For example, in Limpopo, there's an area where there's a river where a lot of people do cross across without being kind of detected by authorities. And of course, at the root also are concerns about South Africa's economy and joblessness. A lot of people, South African youth in particular, are without jobs, and saying that, it's difficult to see immigrants working when they themselves are not working, and they feel that certain industries should be ring-fenced for South Africans.
Already vulnerable people are being stigmatized and attacked. How has that affected the large community of immigrants in South Africa, documented and undocumented alike?
It's put a lot of fear within immigrant communities, and I would also add some South African communities. On Friday, we attended a march that was led by a group of Vatsonga and Mashangan people who are...
They were from Zimbabwe. They speak the Zimbabwe languages, but they were born and raised in South Africa.
A group of South Africans, mainly from the north of the country, and they say that they've also been victimized because they are also Vatsonga and Mashangan people outside of South Africa in countries like Mozambique and Zimbabwe. So there's a lot of fear, definitely. When we went to some of the consulates that are repatriating people, we heard people telling us about direct threats that they've received from neighbors and from people that they know, saying that they need to leave the country. And I think that's why we've seen so many repatriation trips. As of yesterday, the government confirmed that there were 25,000 people processed for repatriation. And by today, that number could be more, because there were many more buses leaving today as well.
We don't have much time, but I don't want to let you go without asking where those targeted by the ultimatum, who maybe don't have the possibility of returning to their home country, where can they turn to?
Well, some are turning to kind of safer shelters, and other people have left hotspot areas to try and find shelter in other areas. I think that a lot of people will be watching the situation as it unfolds, because the protesters have said that this is not the last protest that they will do. So I think some people will be kind of in a wait and see holding pattern.
Diane Hawker.
Now to South Africa, because security personnel have been deployed across the country.
We are currently in Durban at the drive-in just opposite North Beach, where thousands of Malawians have been camping for the last 2 weeks. They were threatened with violence in their homes. That's what they have been telling us. And that is why they say they decided to come to this area, because for them it was safer and that to ensure that they will not be attacked. The priority for all of these people who've gathered here is to leave South Africa by the 30th of June because of that unofficial deadline by protest organizers. But it has been painstakingly slow and very frustrating for these people to be first verified, documented, be given.
Me look at this line, we can pissed off. I can imagine how they feel, man.
A piece of paper that basically says that they were in South Africa illegally and that they are now being deported or repatriated out of South Africa.
We want anything that will be happening to be peaceful, everything, in fact, to be happening peaceful, and we want law and order to be observed.
This piece of paper here is these people's tickets to safety. For them to be able to leave the country before the mass protests that are planned for Tuesday. The police as well as city officials have said that they will ensure that everyone who is here in this camp and many others in this province and of course the country their safety is ensured, as secured, but also the protest organizers themselves have said that they have no interest in looting, in damaging property, but that they want for their message and the government to take illegal immigration serious in this country. They have promised that the protests on June 30th will be peaceful. This is one of the buses that will be making its way to the Limpopo province in Musina at the Beitbridge border post that will be ensuring that the people here, the more than 70 Malawians on this bus, will be taken home to safety. How do you feel about it?
All right, well, there you have it. I think it's like, 11:20 now in South Africa, so I'm pretty sure nothing's happening. If no one got killed, 2 people got shot, 3 people got arrested, and but like one of them said, it's not the last protest. This is just the one they're doing as a marker, and people are actually leaving. So I'm pretty sure they can't tell everyone to get out, but if the majority are leaving, they have their mission accomplished. Let's see what happens in the aftermath of this. Hopefully people in South Africa can find more jobs. Hopefully people in South Africa can still find a way to fund their country within and not rely on third parties. Hopefully so it works out. I don't want them to, they feel like they've been suffering already, okay? With South Africa, you have to be stupid to not realize for them to go this far, something must have happened, okay? They're not going to do it for no reason because they had a bad day on a Tuesday. So on Wednesday, everybody gets out the goddamn country. The common sense will say it's been brewing for a very goddamn long time. Jesus Christ, why? I mean, I understand about how media works. People see other media and they fucking try to make it seem like everything they're doing just evil and wrong, blah, blah, blah.